Let's see. Hi, everybody. I am Andra Annette here with my co-host CBoyd, and we are real lives of the entrepreneurs, telling it like it is 24/7. So, CJ, we had did a post, you commented on a post, and I said, wow, what a great idea for our show tomorrow. So it was about creating magic, another day of magic. So when I think of magic, I think of all these mythical creatures and stuff like that. But lately I've been feeling like I don't grow. And by that I mean if I'm not always working on something different, I feel kind of stagnant in my business, in my life, even in my relationships. If I'm not really changing things up, like if I'm always talking about the same things in health or so I'm working on new projects and I think that helps us expand as a person and keep the magic alive so it doesn't feel like a business, it feels like something you love. What are your thoughts on that?
I agree. I mean, when I first think of magic, I feel like, a little kid sitting in the audience and watching a guy pull a rabbit out of a hat. That's what I think about magic. And then I flip to the whole card trick things like, um, the slight twist and you don't see what's going on behind the scenes. And so I used to think of magic as this big, huge thing that you had to be creating. And now, like you said, I think it's more like creating little tiny things that really light you up and it's eager anticipation and excitement about the little things. And for me, that's what magic means is, just making magic out of the little things that happen every day, turning that into something that means something that has meaning to you, that makes you excited, that makes you light up. And I agree, like if you're not changing and things up and creating something different, we all get stagnant and it's kind of like, it reminds me of that Dunkin' Donuts commercial back in the day. It's time to make the donuts. The guy's beating himself at the door because he's doing the same thing every single day. And so I think just being seeing the magic in everything, like the little things. The sun came up for 6 days straight, and now today I'm looking out the window and it's cloudy and it's like, huh. That in my head it's like I can make my own sunshine today. I don't really need it to be shining outside because I have that within me to create something different.
I like that. And it's raining here too in New York. So so I was pretty happy about that because I don't do well with heat lately. But like for me, I've been in health a really long time. And I think that what keeps me there is there's always something new and innovative. Even though the body and systems don't really change, you find new ways to heal and help, right? Different, approaches, different a lot of people probably wouldn't have suggested meditation or yoga to someone to reduce their stress at a doctor's office before. But doctors see that these modalities help, so they're more apt to suggest things like that today. So it's being able to pivot and change and really not change the way you do things as much as the outcomes. So adding things in is going to help those outcomes for those people that they can do and fit into their life and they like. Whereas if you're just telling them, okay, you want to get rid of your hypertension, this is what you got to eat. You got to eat it every day. And if you like it or not, too bad, eat it. Right. But if you can kind of embrace who they are as a person and what really fits for them
Yeah.
and apply that to what you know about all the different modalities and ways to achieve health, because there's no one way to achieve health, right? So if you could really open yourself up to that magic and explore that with your patients, then you have a better way of creating health. And that's in any business, if
Great.
you're a creator and you're always doing something about robotics, maybe it's time to pivot to something else that starts to light you up, like you said. So, we did those books together a while ago, and I said, I always wanted to write a children's book. So I said, well, I'm gonna do that. So
Yay.
I was trying to decide on a name. Rocky finds his bra. pause, confidence, Pepper's perfect day. I was like, what do I write about? So, yeah, so it was a lot easier than I thought because, kids have those little sayings and a picture.
Yep.
So I said, wow, this is probably going to be a lot easier than it was to sit down and write that first chapter.
Right.
But
No
I'm
kidding.
having fun with it because I want to do, a nice moral, something that I think we should have more of in our education than we might have now. And something that teaches children more confidence. I think that people worry about education, you know, like, did I really need to know everything I needed to know about all those states and where they were located on the map if I wasn't traveling there? Probably not, right? But it was important for me to learn about those cultures, right? When I was growing up, I didn't think I was ever going to use math, right? And I went into engineering, so boy was I wrong. but but you use it every day in everyday life. But I think that they should have more of a moral
Yeah.
teaching in school because we have so much bullying and debasing going on in school and in our culture in whole. So I think that they should instill confidence in children more. It's not about
Like,
getting wrong. Well, that's a good answer, but this would be a better answer.
right.
Find a better way of saying things to our children. So
Yeah, like having that underlying lesson that maybe it's not a smack in the face that like this is a lesson, this is the moral of the story, but having that underlying thing of like kindness and generosity and being integrous and standing up for the underdog, those types of things. And I think that's so important. And I can't wait to read the book.
well, I got to put it together. I'm in the process of doing that. But I'd also like to see, like, in the educational department arena where, kind of like what I just said, like I had a teacher that used to just put the answers on the board in math and it drove me crazy because X never equaled Y no matter how many times I looked at it. I was like, nope, not happening. But I'd like to see a teacher say, well, gee, that's interesting. Can you show me how you got that answer?
Exactly.
So they're coming on the other side and seeing where the problem and the disconnect is, and they're teaching in a different way. They're
Yeah.
trying to understand your learning style so that they can better position themselves to teach the whole class instead of just the ones that get it, right?
Get it the way that they get it. Because I can remember several times that my kids would come home from math and go, I got the right answer. I came up with the answer, but they said it was wrong because I didn't get to the answer the way that I was supposed to. I'm like, what difference does it make as long as you came up with the answer? Like you said, they should be open to there's a different way to get there. It doesn't have to be this exact way. And I think that's
See,
conversation for today.
See, my nephew growing up had dyslexia, and my sister did. So we kind of knew. And the teacher kept marking his answers wrong. And I was livid because his answers were not wrong. They were right. He just wrote them backwards.
Right.
So I went to the school and I said to her, do you not understand that this child doesn't understand he's writing it backwards, that he's looking for another answer, and no matter how many times you add two and two, you are always going to get four. I said, so did you ever take the time to explain to him that this is the right way to write it and work on that aspect? So that's what I mean. That a lot of times I feel like we're all in a box because we're all taught different ways, and sometimes we don't want to step out of that box and create that magic. And I
Exactly.
think creating that magic is being open to other things, not just in our own life and in other people, like being able to listen and have those conversations, even though you might not necessarily agree with someone saying, being open that there's another way other than the way we learned in our own. And I
Yeah.
think that's when the magic really starts to happen, when you have engaging conversations, you explore new things that you might not have ever thought you were going to be good at, and maybe you're never going to be good at, right? So, but
Right.
you try it, you try something different. So that's where I'm at, and I feel more engaged than I was before, I think. I think things kind of became repetitive
Yeah.
because I was trying to drive the same message, and I was finding many different ways to say that where it was the same. But I said, well, maybe I should just try a different way altogether, you know?
Yeah. I think too, like you said, it's the idea of everybody online nowadays. If you want to be successful, you have to follow this path, you know, the whole success leaf clues and all the things, copy and paste, and you'll get there. And I continually tell the people that I have conversations with, it's not a one size fits all. You have a voice that's specific to you. You have a gift that's specific to you, a talent, and every single one of us are an individual piece of the puzzle, but interlocking together and just being excited about what everybody else has to offer, knowing that it's going to make this magical masterpiece in the end. It's like looking at someone and going, wow, they really have this special thing, and I want to know more about that. For me, that's magic. You know, seeing in other people what they have created, what they're capable of, and then kind of having those conversations to help them realize, oh, I do have something really amazing to share. I do have something really amazing to offer. I have conversations, and I'm thinking about when you said let's do the magic. I'm thinking the magic book because I've
I
been
love that
doing
book.
that a billion times. I just finished and I'm starting over again with to be an accountability partner with a couple people, but it's like you have conversations with those people and they're so negative and they're like, oh, but I haven't got to this point in my business yet, or I haven't done this yet. And I'm like, wait, stop. What have you already done in your life? What have you created? What are you excited about that's already happened? Being in gratitude for that and really feeling those emotions and those feelings of like, yeah, I did that, or that was exciting, or that was fun. Being in gratitude of that cracks open everything else in your life to be able to continue to create the magic in your own
Mm.
life. And so I don't know. I just love the idea of, you know, we could sit and wallow in the muck of all the crap that's happened to us in our past, or we can go, okay, what is the silver lining in that? What did I learn from that? What came out of that that I'm now doing differently or better? Or what did I learn from that that like I realized I was working too hard trying to do that thing when I was making it, you know, too hard for myself. But now I can make it easier because I'm having fun doing it. I'm not begrudging getting up at 4:30 a.m. to drag my butt to the cafe. Now I'm like, I can wake up whenever I want and I still can reach way more people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I love that. I wish I could wake up whenever I want. My body wakes up with or without me. It gets up. But like an example of that, there's a girl online who I adore, and she creates journals. It's not a new concept, but I guess hearing her story about how she was in a rough place and she used those journals to walk her out of that place. And then she started using, creating, she creates beautiful pictures of them where you want to own one. I bought a lot of them for my clients because I'm big on journals. But I was reading online today one of her posts where someone said that they're looking for different modalities in health, and they'd love to bring her in. And when
Oh,
you look at what she's creating, and when she started this journey, she was in a place in her life where she just didn't see that positive, and this kind of helped bring it out. And that's what I don't like about that copy and paste whole information system online today, because I think people are neglecting to really see the differences. So, I mean, everybody has some similarities, but we have so many more differences. And I think that that whole copy and paste really takes your individuality out of what you're saying. And it's not that you're struggling with doing what they're doing right. It's that it doesn't align with you because there's a big piece of it that's not you. So you do
Exactly.
have to find what works, I wish I could sit in DMs and talk to people all day, and that's just not who I am. I live a
Right.
very busy life, and I can't be on the DMs, in the hospital, right? Or, if I'm in the community doing community work. So that would never work for me, you
Right.
know? And I can't go online on Facebook and do like a big post. Hey, by the way, I can't be in your DMs because I'm at the hospital today. So can you message me if you're interested in? So, uh, you know, uh, and when I first came out, I think that everybody has that imposter syndrome. We all suffer from that anytime you do something new. I mean, when I go to work every day and help people, I certainly don't have any fears about doing what I'm doing. It comes very natural to me. It's who I've become after all these years. But get online and all of a sudden you're befuddled and you're like, why? You know, because people are telling you this is the right way to do it. And I don't believe that a lot of what they're selling is true. I think they've invented a strategy or it worked for them and they're assuming that it will work for everybody else, but don't they failed to see that the modalities online change quicker than the algorithms. So what worked yesterday or last week for you is not going to be good. So for this week, for
Right.
someone else, so before you finish creating that template and those scripts, the online
Yeah.
space has already moved into something else. So you had said before we went on that a lot of people are using AI to generate all these things. That too is really hurting the online space because people
Yeah.
that really don't have any knowledge in what they're putting out there, that doesn't have any accountability for whether or not people are getting those results or had a problem with their purchase, where they get a refund from, you know, did you say cheese? I thought you said pizza, so there's that whole disconnect in a social platform now. So
Yeah.
the whole platform is to be more sociable, but there's such a disconnection I'm feeling.
Yeah. I agree. I think that, you know, it's kind of like one of those things where you can almost read between the lines. You can tell that somebody has used AI and not put in any parameters or not made it be in their own voice. And you read it and you think, wow, that sounds just like so and so's. And you read all these posts that are so similar. And I've actually read several posts yesterday where people are like, I had somebody copy and paste my post verbatim. And I'm thinking, okay, first and foremost, you should be honored that they want to copy your post because obviously it meant something great for them. But like you said, where's the connection? I mean, I don't want to work with somebody who gives two shits about who I am as a person. I want to work with somebody who is lit up about my individuality, my voice, my truth, my talents, and that's what I try to look for in everybody else. And that's why Queen by Design is, what I created because I want to hone in on your specific thing and help you to learn how to monetize your thing. I don't want you to just be a copy and paste version of everybody else. Then I feel like we're living in a land of robots. Everybody's saying the same thing, everybody's doing the same thing, everybody's dressed the same way. And
Mm.
I think that takes away from the magic of who we are as human beings. And no wonder we can't get along. No wonder we're not celebrating each other's individuality and differences because everywhere we turn, everybody's telling you, oh, you need to do this, this, and this to be successful. Oh, you need to go to school, get a good job, get married, have 2.5 kids, why pick a fence? Where in reality, we should be like, share with me what it is that you have that you think is unique and special and really hone in on those things instead of trying to mold everybody into the same shape because how fucking boring is that?
That's like the guidance counselor. You go into high school and ask you what you want to do, and then tells you, no, I don't think you'd be good at that. Yeah, I don't think you'd be good at that. I
Right.
remember I remember that conversation very well. But they quickly come around to your way of being he was funny. He was really, you want to do what? Because I picked three things. Like I either want to do this, this, or this. And he said, I don't see any similarities in them. I said, they're all building and creating, you know?
Right.
So, and then when he looked at it like that, he said, oh, okay. He said, so you want to build stuff, you know? And I had gotten permission in high school to do murals on their walls because I said the school was too drab. Nobody stays in school because it's too drab. Could you add
I
some
love
color?
it.
Right. So they actually gave me permission to do that. But I agree with you that there's like all these like carbon copies of people out there, and people like I can tell whose program someone's been in based on the stuff they're
What
using.
tagline they use.
Yeah, and some people are smart enough to change it to like maybe use a system, but change it to what works for them. And you
Yeah,
can see those people too. And those people are more likely to be successful because they picked the pieces they like and then incorporated who they were. If
yeah,
that makes sense. Because a
absolutely.
lot of what I heard online that works for everybody else, none of it worked for me. It just felt very sleazy. Um, and then I say to myself, well, you're not where you want to be either. So maybe maybe, maybe you should have listened more. But I'm not where I want to be yet. And I don't think I ever will. Like it's like that dieter, like I'll ever be where I want to be because my visions is so much greater than you can imagine. It's like that dieter who gets to their goal and because they haven't mapped it out, they don't know that they've reached it.
Right.
But yeah, so my vision just keeps changing and getting bigger as I feel like I'm growing as a person.
But that's the magic that you have. That's exactly what we're talking about. That's magic because you have this idea of what you want to do, but you're ever evolving, ever growing, and it's so much bigger because you have that magic inside of you, and that's what you're trying to create.
I think everybody would like to create that magic, but I think sometimes people complicate it, that they don't look at what they're doing already. Because no, because a lot of times it's what people are telling them they're good at. It's what their friends are coming to them asking them for help with all the time. Like, I should have been a motivational speaker because my friends always come to me when they want like a boost of
Pep
confidence
talk.
or help. Yeah, pep talk, you know. Um, but I think that they live in that fear instead of that gratitude because gratitude really replaces fear. When you stop thinking of things as failing and as it becoming an experience that helps you grow, and you have that gratitude for that, then that fear kind of dissipates, you know? I don't know when it happens or what, where it happens in my journey, but I noticed that the more I was grateful for the mistakes I made, that I no longer had that fear about putting myself out there
Yeah.
or things like that. And I hear a lot of people say they're afraid of failing or they're afraid of succeeding. And I think what's strange for me is that people that have that ability, and I mean, all people have that ability, but people that I see in my day-to-day life that have so much ability to really create something awesome are usually the ones that are the most fearful. And I'm like, what's going on? You're so good at this. Why not just do this? And they're
Like
and
you're calling me out, Andra.
no, but like I had a friend, who's been doing a show forever and she keeps asking my advice. I'm like, when did I become the
Right.
show expert? I'm just like winging it. I showed up one day and said, "Hey, I'm going live and this is easier for me." So, I mean, sometimes you really do have to fake it till you make it. If you're not
Yeah.
good at something, you just have to do it anyway and practice and you get better. I don't feel like I'm the best speaker. I've always had problems with my words, a lisp, piscetti, jerdy instead of dirty. Like I always, so that's kind of in the back of my head. So sometimes I feel like my tongue gets in the way when I have something important to say. Um, I did a show recently and I was trying to say lounging and the thought was there, but the words didn't come. And I was like, loading. So, and I didn't care, you know?
Yeah.
So
That's the beauty
I
of it
think
though. You're human. That's what makes you so cool is you're human and you accept it and you're like, yeah, it happens.
I do pre-recorded reels sometimes so that I can always have something that I want to say even when I can't be present. People can see that I'm there and I care. And I think I told you before we went live that I had such a hard time with this one reel because I'm not that girl that says book a call, have it, or I'm the best for you, even though I know I'm the best for you. So there was kind of a pivot in the way I usually do my reels and getting those words out of my mouth. It just didn't feel natural because that's not who I am. And I was like, oh boy, this sucks. So I kind of made the same mistake at the same point every time in the reel. And it's only a 30-second reel, right? And then I finally said to myself, so it's a wrap. We're going with a mistake because I'm not doing that again. And I just said, the hell with it, you know? But I was like falling over myself. I was going to say help and guide, and I just kind of said, help God. I couldn't get the words out. It just sounded kind of peculiar, but they'll know. And it's just me being me. And I think that when you're not afraid to show up and be who you are, that
Yeah.
exciting magic does start to happen. I think that your life gets easier. I think that the stress is less in your life and that more people are attracted to that glow because you're happy about what you're doing. I saw a guy teaching a class on meditation, and the guy was just like so calm. And I never met this guy before in my life. And I said, I want what this guy has, you know? And they say, you want what I have, do what I do. So I said, I'm going to
Right.
join this guy's class just to see how the hell he's so peaceful. And just listening to him started to calm me and calm my nervous system. And I was like, maybe it's the voice,
Yeah.
you
Huh.
know? Um, but I love what he teaches, and he teaches you how to do it. And I stayed in his wheel well, and I listened to him. And when I need calm, I'll turn him on.
Know where to go. Yeah. I think for me, what was landing when you were talking about doing the reels and, flubbing it up, and for me, laughter. Laughter is like magic because I would rather be my sarcastic, off the cuff sarcasm mouth and be happy and joyful and laugh about it. And those are the types of people that I'm like, okay, if you get it, you think it's funny, you're my people. I constantly tell my husband, my sarcasm is why you fell in love with me. He's like, yeah, not so much, but that's who I am. And when I show up as myself and I am sarcastic and off the cuff remarks and I make myself laugh, I'm like, that's magic. I'm creating magic in my own life because I'm being joyful about who I am and not being fearful of how other people are going to receive that.
Yeah, that's how it should be. I mean, and that's what I love about you. um, but that's how it should be. When you look back over your life, you want to reflect on the goodness that you put out there. And everybody comes to that time in their life when they have to look back on their life and say, did I do what I wanted to do? Did I create that magic? And do I have regrets? I don't want to be that person at the end of my life that has regrets that I could have did this and I don't know how it turned out because I didn't put myself out there,
Right.
or anything like that. So even with the children's book, it's something different. I found this site where I can publish it myself. If it sells, it sells. If it didn't, it didn't. But then I'll know whether it's something I really enjoyed, and I always keep a copy of everything I do. That's just who I am. But I'm also taking a lot of the things that I've done while I'm out here, like PDFs and stuff like that, and I'm making them into little mini books. I've created thousands of recipes. I'm going to put them in a cookbook. Why not? They're mine, right?
It's awesome.
And if someone wants it, So I can do all that on this site and all I have to do is upload. So it's just like combining them. So it's not hard to upload all those downloads and say this is all one and
Right.
I'd like it to be as colorful and it's time consuming, but I want my name on it. I went online the other day. I was very perturbed. Um, one of the groups I was in was asking promote your book or something like that. So I went online the other day to get the link, the Amazon link. And when I put in Andra, I used to just put in Andra books. All these other Andras came up. I said, who the hell is using my name? Who the hell is Andra? Right. So I was like, hmm. So that was all, it was all Andra's books or like that's their company. But that's I said, I don't know that they can make it a company. That's my name.
Right.
Right. Unless that's his name, you know. Um, but I thought that was kind of cool. I said, well, I guess I should be happy that my name is out there now, right?
Right.
And but I
It's in the
wasn't.
search engine.
I wasn't. I was like, but that's me. So yeah, so but I love being able to have that stuff out there and saying, hey, I did this. There's some kind of like it does something for your pride.
Yeah. There's a satisfaction and excitement that you created something that is going to be around forever. That's the way I view it.
Yeah. You hope it's around forever. You hope they don't throw it off the shelf. Like, but I mean, we're in a couple of books with SRS and finding them in Amazon was difficult. And I was like, what's going on there? Um, but they, but they were difficult. And then I had to go to my name to find them because they were listed because I was gonna put one of the best sellers up, of course, right? But so yeah, so I think that creating magic is an ongoing process and that it comes with just tuning into yourself and getting out of that fear and that ego and willing to show up as you are. So it is creating magic is really being that integrous person that you're talking about and not being so worried about what other people think, you
Yeah.
know?
For me, I'm just laughing because I like to watch stand-up comics a lot. And I think to myself, I'd be really good at that. That would be awesome. I could just be my sarcastic self up there. And then I'm thinking, but what if you got up on stage and nobody laughed except for you? I mean, I'd be up there laughing at myself, but just the thought of being able to think that that's something that I could be capable of or something that I could do, that to me is magic. Because in my past, I would have never, I'd been like, oh, hell no, I am not getting up on a stage in front of anybody. There's no way I could do that. And I think, like you said, it's ever evolving, ever growing. It's when you get up every single day and think, I have something amazing to offer. It doesn't have to be the same thing as yesterday. I can just show up every single day and show up as my badass self and be okay with that and just love what I'm doing. That's magic.
Someone
That's
said
what.
to me, because I was talking about gut health and thyroid and all this stuff, and someone said to me that I was going to confuse people with these new offers. And I said, why? It just means that I'm capable of more than one thing.
Right.
Why should that confuse people? I understand their point though. Like they don't, if it's someone that comes in on day one and then comes
Right.
back on day three and I'm talking about something different, they're like, this girl's always on to something else. Right. But it's, that might be different in business where you can pivot and change, but it shouldn't be a day-to-day thing. You shouldn't be
No,
changing
no.
everything about your business every day. You'd never get to where you want to go. But don't be afraid. I think what I want people to know is not to be afraid to be you and don't let other people tell you how to create that magic. So only you know what lights you up, you know. I'm not trying to be a billionaire out here. I'm trying to have fun. I'm pushing 60 and I'm enjoying health in a new way, and for me that's pretty cool,
It's cool.
you know.
I think kind of just to piggyback on what you said is you get to show up and you get to do things in a fun way. And when you're building a business, like you said, don't change things every single day, but you can add in things that are parts of your personality to showcase who you are. And for me, that's magic. If you're showcasing who you are and the funny things, like a lot of people online have no idea of my sarcastic abilities. And I just find myself like more and more like sprinkling little pieces of that into my content, and that because that's what makes me feel good. That's what makes me laugh. And I think just being yourself is the most magical thing that you can do, because you have no idea who out there is watching you and going, oh, I would have never guessed that about CJ, or I would have never guessed that about Andra. Like there's so many different layers and pieces of the puzzle that makes up you that people don't know about. But when you start sprinkling those things in, it's like you're giving them permission slip for somebody else to be like, oh, I can be magical too. It's cool.
I think it's important to be who you are. And if that's whether that's sarcastic or that stands up comedy, I say go for it. I say go for it. So I mean that's really our message today is like don't let things hold you back. I'm teaching a group grow your business without losing your shirt, right? So we're doing all these like free things. We're helping people. Canvas this way week, if you know anybody that needs to know Canvas. We're teaching people Canva, quick and easy ways to put yourself out there. Because a lot of times people are out there. And the other thing I want to say is people struggle and they think they wait. They don't start their business because they think they don't have money or they think they don't have that. There's so many free ways to start a business. YouTube has all these amazing things that teach you new things that you can do and excel at. And there are a lot of people out there that say, well, I'm not good at anything, but getting good at something is just deciding what it is you want that to be and continuing that learning process,
Right.
I mean, I'm in health 40 years. I was scared shitless the first day I was on that floor. I was walking around saying to myself, keep him breathing, keep him safe, keep him. The lady was like, what'd you say? Nothing. Keep him and I just what did you say? Nothing. And I just I
Oh my
just kept that
gosh.
in my head, to get me through that first day. And when something happens, I automatically knew how to react, but you don't think that when you start.
Yeah.
We all start with a clean slate. We all
Yeah.
decide, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And then we just improve on it as time goes by. So it's all about getting started and continuing that process,
Yeah.
and taking help where you need it. People do have to, if I need help with something, I reach out. I do. I don't tell those people, hey, I need your help. I just go and I find out what I need and I get it. And that's it, because
Yep.
the only one that I'm stunting is me. If I know I need help with something and I'm not willing to ask for that help, then I'm stunting my own growth and I'll stay in that same place, right? So I do
Absolutely.
sometimes you have to know when to ask help, and maybe that's joining a group online, maybe that's searching YouTube for, business ideas, or even chat AI, they're using it for everything else. Hey, what would be a good business that I can start right away with no money, right?
Right.
So yeah, but it is important to put yourself out there and let people identify you with who you are uniquely.
Right. I think for me, I'm sitting here thinking about, I'm 54 years old, and I was thinking about all the years I wasted doing the what if this happens? What if? And now I'm like slipping that, like, what if I do this? How cool would that be? And I just want to, I guess the message I want to leave people with is that you're magical no matter what you decide to do. And it's not, you don't have to fit in some parameter of something that somebody's told you your whole life that you should be doing. You get to decide, and when you do something and it gets that little giggle in your throat, or the hairs on the back of your head, or that little bubble inside your stomach, you're exactly where you're meant to be. That's what starting the creation of the magic that is you. And so I just don't want anybody to sit in fear or be on their deathbed and go, I wish I could have done that, or I wish I would have done that, because life is too short and we're here to be enjoying it and have fun. And that's just what, if you have something you think you want to try, just try it. What's the worst that can happen?
I love that. We're going to leave it on that profound note. And thank you for joining us today on the Real Life of the Entrepreneurs with CBoyd and Andra. Have a great day, guys.